Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Nigel, and today we're going to be looking at two new lights from Falcon Eyes. The first one is this Aputure F7 Mini, and then we're going to be looking at the new RX18td Mark II. So I do want to preface this by saying that Falcon Eyes was nice enough to send me both of these lights, but as with all my reviews, I'm not being paid. Falcon Eyes isn't seeing this video before I release it, and these are going to be my unbiased and honest opinions. So first let's talk about the Aputure F7 Mini. Now I've actually done a video on the older and bigger brother of this little RGB light, and I'll put that in a little card right up there. But this is a small RGB light that can be used in a lot of different scenarios, but what kind of separates this from its older brother is the fact that you can actually control this through an app on your phone. Another pretty convenient feature about this little F7 Mini is that it has magnets on the back, so you can kind of stick it to anything that is metal, and it's already got a frosted diffuser on top of the LEDs, so it's already going to give off a softer light. And even for being this small, it actually does have a little LCD on the top, so you can see what your settings are, and you can charge it via USB-C, which I really like. Something that comes with the F7 Mini, which I really like, is this little carrying case. And what's kind of weird is the bigger section of this pouch actually carries just the diffusers and the honeycomb for it. So it comes with a little honeycomb, and then you've actually got an extra diffuser, so if you want to diffuse your light even more. And then the smaller pouch on the back of this little bag is actually where you put the S7 Mini. So being an RGB light, obviously you can set it to basically any color that you can think of, and what's really nice is that with the app on your phone, it makes it so much easier to choose the exact color that you want. So how would you use a little RGB light like this? Well, there's a lot of different uses, but here on YouTube I see a lot of people using these little RGB lights and kind of putting them up and kicking light on the background. So this is a pretty typical use of an RGB light, especially here on YouTube. Most people just put it up into the back and just kind of splash some light onto their backdrop just to add a little bit of color, to add some separation between them and the background. This is a pretty typical use. I've definitely done this before, and it can really look good, especially if you're mixing it with like a, you know, like a warmer tone, kind of like that orange and teal look that everybody likes. It's a really easy way to just add some visual interest to the back of your shot. All right, so now let's move on to the Falcon Eyes RX18tdx Mark II. So I actually have it right here. I have the softbox and the grid on it. This is a slightly smaller light than the one that I'm currently using, which is the RX24td. So what's different about this RX18tdx? Well, there's a couple of things. And the first thing that I want to address, which is kind of like the big thing that they're kind of trying to push, is that it's actually a weather sealed light. So you can take it out in a light drizzle or, you know, some adverse weather conditions, and it should perform perfectly fine. Now, even with that knowledge, I still don't think that I would, you know, take this out in, you know, a torrential downpour or maybe like out in the desert and just let it lying in the sand. I'm still very careful with my gear, even when it is weather sealed, like the GH3 that I use. I still try not to take it out in like, you know, ridiculous weather conditions. But it's kind of nice that this RX18 actually is weather sealed and you don't have to worry about it so much. They've also completely revamped the control box, which I really like. It's a little bit more reminiscent to the Aputure products that I've used before. Their control boxes are always really nicely laid out and they just look really premium. And the same goes for this RX18 Mark II. The control box for this is really great. Obviously it has the V-mount adapter on it, so you can use V-mount batteries, which I do quite often. So this is kind of becoming my thing now. I like to take bigger lights, power them with V-mount batteries, and give myself some really nice soft light out here in the forest. This is probably the light that I'm going to start using now, just because it is more weatherproof. I would still probably put like a little bag over the control box and the V-mount battery, but as far as the actual light, I don't have to worry about it so much if it's raining or something like that, because it's actually a weatherproof light, which is, I think, is really cool, especially if you're more of like an adventure filmmaker. So it's just something a little extra that just kind of adds to the usability of a product. Whether or not it can withstand some adverse weather conditions, I think is pretty crucial. So real quick, I just kind of wanted to show you both of these lights in use, how I would use them to shoot a YouTube video. Right now I have the RX RX18tdx II right here acting as my key light, and I have the softbox and the grid on it. So it's providing a really nice soft light on my face. And then I have the little F7 Mini right over here, and I have the diffusion on it, and what that's doing is helping it spread a little bit more so I can kick a little bit of a blue color onto the back of my wall, just so I can create some color contrast between me and the background. And I do obviously have a practical up there. That's just a really simple Edison bulb, but that's just to add a little bit of color contrast in the background, just to help separate me even more. What I really appreciated was with the kit that Falcon Eyes sent me, there was a little spot where you could connect this clamp to your light stand, and the new control box of the RX18 II actually has a dedicated V-mount lock specifically for mounting it. So you can mount it on your light stand with the dedicated V-mount lock, but still be able to put a V-mount battery on there. So it just keeps your entire kit really nice and compact and portable, which I really, really appreciate. The kit that I received with the RX18 was one with the softbox and the grid, but also a kind of umbrella attachment, which can provide you more of a umbrella style lighting, which is going to be a little bit softer than the soft boxes that come with the Falcon Eyes lights, simply because of the space between the actual light source and the diffusion. With these soft boxes, there's only about this much space between the light and like the diffusion material, whereas with the umbrella attachment, it's a lot bigger of a space, and so you're getting a softer light that way. Something that I should also mention is that this is a bicolor light, so you can do 5600 Kelvin for daylight or 3200 Kelvin for tungsten. To be honest, I only use the daylight color temperature. I only shoot at 5600 Kelvin for most of my videos, so I don't really mess with the fact that it can change color temperatures, but it is nice that it can. A lot of the times though, I feel like when you have a bicolor light, it tends to be not as bright of a light, which is probably true with this RX18 as well, but it is nice that you have that option. I've found that all of the Falcon Eyes lights that I've used are more than bright enough for, I would say, 90% of the situations that I find myself in. So overall, I am really happy with these Falcon Eyes lights. I think that Falcon Eyes has been doing a pretty good job at trying to innovate and kind of build upon the successful products that they've already made. And just like with the bigger F7, I think that the F7 Mini works great for what it is, and it gets the job done at a pretty competitive price. And the same goes for the new RX18 II. It takes what I already loved about the original RX18 and it just gave it some much needed upgrades and some weather sealing, which I really liked. So if you'd like to check out either of these lights, I'm going to have links in the description below. If you made it to the end of this video, mad props, thank you so much. And if you'd like to check out some more of my videos, you can click on either side of my face. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Later.